All right, so now we have autoloading in place and can actually start building our package. Now, before we go and add this package to an actual application, I wanted to do a test-driven approach and see how we can add tests to our package to develop the package along as we write the tests. So we embrace test-driven development for our package. That's also how I build my packages personally. So I think it's best to do this for the Chuck Norris package as well. So similar to the autoloading definition that we have in the composer JSON, we can add another definition which will only be available for dev environments. So we can copy this autoload section in here and just paste it below. And instead of autoload, we just call it autoload dev. And then what I like to do is to just have the namespace tests and then point to the tests directory. So this means that when you load this package with the dev dependencies, you will also get the autoload dev configuration loaded, which means that you can then require classes in the tests namespace, and Composer will automatically, just like with the source directory, figure out where those classes are because we tell Composer that those files are in the tests directory. So we can create a new folder called tests. This is where our test cases will go to. And as you can see, we have this require section, which is the dependencies of our package. We don't have any. And then we also have a dev dependency section, which would be require dev. So in order to run tests for our package, we need something like PHP unit or Codeception. We will use PHP unit in our example, but those dependencies should not be put in the require section, but in the require dev section. As I said, those dependencies are only needed when you actually develop this package and want to test it. So let's require PHP unit. We can do this either by modifying the composer JSON directly, which I would not recommend because you can just break things. But instead, what you can do is use the composer command line tool. So we can say composer require, then use --dev. So composer knows this is now a dev dependency, and we want PHP unit, PHP unit. All right, so PHP unit is now installed. We now, if we refresh our composer JSON, we see that we now have a require dev section in here, which requires PHP unit. And inside of our vendor folder, we now have PHP unit and all of the dependencies of PHP unit itself installed. Great. So now we can go and create our first test case. So let's create a new file. The namespace will be mpotziot Chuck Norris jokes tests. And the class would be the joke factory test. Save the file. All right, and we are going to extend the test case class that ships with PHP unit. This one. All right, and now we can go and create our first test. So let's say public function, it returns a random joke. So this would be one test that we want to perform. And we use the @test doc block so that PHP unit knows that this method is a test. You can also remove this doc block and then just add it in front of the method name like this. But I like it more if the function name is more readable, and then we just have the test doc block, so PHP unit knows what's going on. All right. Now to see if this is actually working, let's make a simple assertion, assert true, true. So this should pass. And now we can try vendor bin PHP unit tests joke factory test. And we have one test, one assertion, and it's all green. Great. So now we can start looking into the actual implementation of our joke factory and write the tests along.